Welcome to Danu on Fire, right here on High TV, your luxury channel. This week around, we are checking out Thai Cuisine Boulevard with someone who is very diverse and at the same time who loves his food. The only difference between me and him is the fact that he burns it and I don't. Let's speak more on the show. We're Thai Cuisine Boulevard and this is Danu on Fire right here on High TV. In and out of Colombo, we're featuring some fabulous restaurants and we're so happy to have you on board. And with me on the show today, I have the one and only Kishu Gomes, who is dashing as always, all well properly dressed. So today, Danu on Fire is a combination of great food and conversation.
Right.
Are you a foodie?
I am a foodie, yes, but I burn, the quantity I eat as well. Yes,
that is true. I'm having an issue with the burning part. I've got the other part right. I've got the foodie part right.
You'll get that over.
Yeah, I know. I burnt like 3 kilos because I'm trying to have space to put on.
Okay.
I have to always balance the circle.
Right.
All right. So let's start off with a little bit of everyone knows about your job and what you do and what you've done. So let's speak a little bit about what's your food habit like?
Well, I don't sort of, do the same thing right through the year. I have a habit of sort of going anything and everything, for about 3 months. Then I go sometimes, vegetarian and I go meaty and so that's what I do.
You like to confuse your body.
Confuse my body.
Yeah.
What is important is, when it comes to food habits, if you go, this way right throughout, you might lose the level of energy that you need, right?
Okay.
And I like to sort of remain very active, hyperactive wherever possible. So I treat my body really well, for 3-4 months. And then during that time, of course, I would work out and I burn out, more, all of that. And then, I relax a bit and not heavy exercising, but, food on a controlled basis. So that's what I do. I don't sort of, have a kind of monotonous or consistent, food habit as such.
All right. So we have invited you to this Thai place. Are you a Thai fan?
I am a Thai fan for many reasons. Well,
the prawn, of course. The prawn.
Who can resist it?
I know. I'm going to actually go with, I think this is cottage cheese.
Yes.
I'm going to let you.
Okay.
As my guest, you should go ahead first, but
thank you.
It's fine. I'm just a bit greedy in the process. All right. Now I see you running around with your dog down Havelock.
Why do you have to mention it now?
So now I know your fitness routine. All what I'm missing is an active dog, actually.
Okay. So if you get one, you'll be able to very easily lose weight.
My dogs are so comfortable with their size. They are like, thank you. We are happy to be curvaceous. So tell me about your fitness routine that happens.
Well, I being a national athlete, Danu, you may know, you may not know. So I still have a habit of, doing sprinting. I don't believe in, jogging or walking. It's just that I have to walk the dog. But other than that,
the dog can sprint.
Poor fellow, yes. Yeah. He would run, 50 meters and then he'll be panting for the next, 2 hours.
Right?
Golden Retriever, yeah, that's right. Yeah, so I still, whenever I find the time, go to a ground, put on my spikes, and I do sprinting. So, I have this phrase that I use, all the time. The day I retire is not the day when I hit, 55 years or 60 years. The day I can't run 100 meters in less than 12 seconds would be the day, I would take that decision to retire. So that's not literally, but that's the attitude I have.
Okay, so in midst of this active life and all what you have done career-wise, now you were once running multinational organizations, then you worked with the government in promoting Sri Lanka. Your career has been quite exposed. What do you do right now?
Well, I'm just trying to help a local business entity to be able to drive the country's economic growth. It's a little heavy, at a time like this, but I need to, still explain. So I guess if Sri Lanka is to be independent from an economics perspective, we need to, help local organizations to cross borders and then bring in foreign revenue.
And stand on their own feet.
Stand on their own feet. Otherwise, if we allow this, system to go through, it'll take a longer time, or we will never get there. So that's why I've decided, having worked for U.S. multinationals for many decades, I decided to, help a local business entity which is into cosmetics. So competing against, the multinational giants here locally in the local market, and then we are also supplying.
All of this is, I think our local cosmetics do so well internationally.
Yes.
The minute you say Sri Lanka, they're like, oh my God, so natural.
Right.
But here, they're like, oh, Sri Lanka.
Yeah. If it's Sri Lankan, it can't be good.
Like, we might just say, it's just a perception. I think we are always inspired and aspired to be the whole European sector when we could actually.
When it comes to cosmetics, that's the kind of attitude people have here. Mindset we have here. I think that has to change. The time is ripe, for people to change that attitude. Take into account that foreigners, simply love our cosmetics. They like to go natural. So why not Sri Lankans, at least follow that.
I once went for this brand launch of a very local brand that we use their balms and things with. Internationally, they're so big.
So
big,
yeah.
Containers leave our country, and nobody here even touches their toothpaste. And I'm like,
why is that?
Why is that? So now I've shifted to them just to try it out, and I love it.
Great, thank you. Yeah.
Let's get into a break. When we do come back, we're going to speak a little bit about when he used to market Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka's strength, I will say, is the food. We have so many variety. We'll speak more about it when we do come back. Do stick around. It's Danu on Fire. So as my main, we have got pineapple rice with prawns, we have got chicken green curry, and we've also got papaya salad, right? I'm trying to be on a diet from my first segment to my second segment.
So what are you going to start with?
The salad. Okay. Just to be fair by everyone,
Good.
All right. So why don't you serve, and while I dig in a question from you. So now, now I wanted to ask you, what was the question now? Now you have worked with Sri Lanka.
Yes.
Promoting Sri Lanka as a product, which might not be an easy task, not because the product, there's something wrong with the product, but the stakeholders of the products can really do anything.
You said it.
So tell me, I want to know from an outsider, the product, would it do very well if the stakeholders change?
I'm out of public service, so therefore I can be honest and direct, right? Yes.
That's the answer I was waiting for.
Yeah, it's definitely yes. Stakeholders are basically taking different positions at different times,
which benefits them and not
benefit them. And if you look at the stakeholders who are actually running the industry, they all have biased views, and they would, as individuals or teams, would do things that would help their segment, not the country as a whole. So that's where the issue has been. So at the government level, at the board level, and public entity level, there are these conflicts. So those have to be ironed out, and I hope the new government will do what is right to create that environment within which people will be focusing on the broader sort of aspect of it, and promote Sri Lanka as a whole, giving the tourist the opportunity to basically experience what they like to experience in Sri Lanka, rather than telling them, this is the only thing that's available in Sri Lanka, or these are the only things that are available in Sri Lanka, which is what has been happening in the country for the past 3 to 4 years, unfortunately.
True. I'm going to let you serve, because otherwise we'll not eat. No,
what do I start with? I'll probably
you go with your steamed rice.
Steamed rice.
Go with the salad. Now, we had a few slogans that Sri Lanka had.
Right.
Pearl of the Indian Ocean, Wonder of Asia.
Right.
Then now we have So Sri Lanka.
Yes.
Now this Wonder of Asia had like drama, no?
Yes.
What do you think is the best slogan for us?
Out of the three you said?
Yeah.
Well, you can look at it from a different angle. So Sri Lanka, the good thing about that is that it opens avenues, and you can be very creative with it. You can apply that to any situation. So Sri Lanka in itself doesn't really mean much, but when you tag that on to tangible product, it can create the buzz and some meaning. So it all depends on how you play with that master brand,
with that O that connects the whole.
That's right. So it can be applied to any situation, any tourism product that we're marketing. And it can cut across any operating environment. So there are some flexibilities with it, so to speak. Whereas with the other two, you're framing the value proposition, and you got to operate within that. So with time changing, with many things evolving, your ability to adapt yourself to situations, is limited.
Now, as a person who has marketed many brands and done so much, I always feel that Sri Lanka has the most diversity when it comes to food, and that's the beauty of our country. I think we have something to eat every month.
Sure.
If your neighbors love you, you don't need to cook at home.
Sure.
And one occasion you might have to cook and give them.
That's all you have to do.
But life is just great. As Sri Lankans, we get to enjoy the best life.
Right.
Why do you feel that we have not tapped into the whole food market in promoting Sri Lanka? So, as much as other, for example, Thailand lives only out of their food market.
Sure.
Food is one of the key things.
Definitely.
And when we go there, we want to sit at the street and eat.
First thing we do is, look at what is available. That's right. Yeah. No, you're right. So, as a country, we haven't done a good job. That we have to admit. But as individual restaurants and individual brands, Sri Lankan brands have done extremely well, right? Proven a point that Sri Lanka cuisine has a place in the world, and it can be marketed, to the high end as well, to be able to earn the right margins. So we got everything, in place. It's just that we have not had a strategy, covering the varieties we have. And basically marketed it under a particular theme. So that's where we've been lacking. But yes, food is a big ticket item in the tourism industry. I mean, look at all the countries that are known for tourism. All these countries, market their food as being one of the biggest revenue generators. So even in our case, with the variety we've got, with the food culture we've had in this country, there is that massive range that we can offer to the tourist.
I actually feel that if somebody who is watching who can actually take my word, I feel that we can actually promote our country as a vegan haven. Because I think everything that we cook as a Sri Lankan, in terms of vegetarian cuisines, just pure vegan, and it's just the most tastiest food that you can ever find.
Sure.
It doesn't need to be boring.
Right.
Anyway, let's get into a break. Do you like dessert?
Well, at times I like, but today
you can sprint in the night. Or just one day and then don't.
getting me to work harder.
Yeah. We'll see you on the other side. Do stick around. We're checking out Thai Cuisine Boulevard in Kolpiti, and a place that you need to come and enjoy some great Thai food, in conversation with Kishu Gomes right here on Danu on Fire. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's my final segment, my favorite, I don't know, for a disciplined body like yours.
My favorite too.
The mango and the sticky rice.
Mango and sticky rice, yes.
But this is Thai jasmine jelly. Jelly, right? Jelly? Yes, it's jelly. I don't know how Thai jasmine is pink. No, it's just coloring, I think. Just wanted
It looks very appetizing.
Yeah. But this sticky rice part is there in every Thai place, no?
Yes.
Yeah. You know, when I cut mango at home, it doesn't look anything like this. It barely looks like a mango. Sometimes
But keep trying. You'll get there.
I sometimes try as to what is happening. Okay, so now, can you cook?
I can. Especially Chinese.
Ah, really?
There is a reason behind it, but yes.
So what's the reason?
Reason being that, in fact, when I was very young, working for the employer then,
Okay.
one of my colleagues, started a Chinese restaurant.
Okay.
And I was a area sales manager,
Right.
going from area to area. So this guy,
Sri Lankan
ended
Chinese
up Sri Lanka
Sri
Chinese.
Lanka.
So ended up, opening 3 Chinese restaurants in my territory.
Right. Okay.
So every day, I made it a point to go to one of his restaurants to eat. So whenever I walked in, I never, stopped here.
Yeah.
Went right into the kitchen, and then worked with the guys to get the knack of it, and then came home, started doing it, and got the
hang of it.
Yeah, hang of
so
it,
the
and
whole
then started
hot
doing
butter
it. Yeah.
cuttlefish and the works.
Yes,
wow.
yes.
You know, I always say Sri Lankan Chinese is the best Chinese.
It is. Yes.
I'm sure
Sri
China will
Lankan
be
version of
yes.
Chinese. Yes.
Chinese will be like, whoa, what did you all do with our food?
for it to be so tasty.
But we have put the tea and we have put the oil and done the whole works.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you dig into your favorite dessert. I'm going to go to this jasmine and see. Presentation is so good.
Yeah.
I mean, apparently, I'm told Thai desserts are very healthy. Yes. Just wanted to say if there's anybody stopping me from saying it. All right. So you can survive a day with nobody giving you any food. You will manage by yourself.
No issue. I can.
Okay.
Yes.
How was life when you were growing up? What was your mom's very special dish that she'll cook?
She was a great cook, and she used to do many dishes, not just one. So anything she cooked was so tasty. But having said that, I was so skinny that because I spent more time in the grounds than in the classroom. So that was the reason for it. But we were well fed.
Very good. My mom, she wanted me to get outside more often. I said I don't want to waste any time from the kitchen to the devil. But like at home, what's your Sunday special? When is your special meal at home?
It's usually dinner.
Okay.
Lunch, you would just
out on the go.
Out on the go, or would have something that's available. You wouldn't put in that much of an effort with everything else you're doing through the day. But evening is at the time for you to enjoy.
Yeah.
Not just food, anything for that matter. So that's the best meal for me. Yeah.
And do you have this particular time that you have to eat before 7 o'clock?
I generally eat early. I don't wait until 9:30 to eat my dinner. So usually around 7:30, 8.
Yeah, but when you are invited for a Sri Lankan dinner, people will serve the food only at around 11:30 in the night.
I know.
By the time they give you dessert, it's like 4 in the morning.
That's true.
And you come home thinking, what did I go for?
That's true.
Yeah,
You're so tired.
Yeah, because I
haven't enjoyed anything awesome.
Yeah, but I have this problem. I think Sri Lankans really take a long time to serve the food.
I know.
We talk, and the bites are the most important thing.
That's right.
Those fish cutlets go like flying.
Yeah. Whereas if you go to a country like Singapore, by 7:30 you're done.
They're like, we called you for dinner, not for breakfast. Go home, which is the problem. Yeah. So now, because I always ask, because when you're growing up, there's always that one special meal that your mom or your dad will make that is something that's So you eat anything and everything?
I eat anything, everything, as I said during our first segment. But very conscious about what I eat, not to, avoid eating anything. But if I eat too much quantity of bad stuff, then I would, work out more to burn it.
Yeah, burn it. One of the key words. Now, now you have taken your third leaf of life. Sure. I thought when you retired from your first posting with a huge success rate from Caltex, I thought you'll be just relaxing and chilling and looking at the island, and nothing is stopping you. You're still running that 100 meters. That's a problem.
Yes, as long as I have energy, I would like to run the race for the country, not for me anymore. To be very honest with you, there is a lot more that I can do for the poor people, of our country. And I know, we are eating this great food at this, great restaurant. But my conclusion is that 40% of our population can't have 3 decent meals a day. So I'm trying to sort of make a positive, impact on their lives.
Great.
So that's why I continue to work.
Excellent. I'm so happy that you said it, because recently I met this wonderful gentleman who is really promoting to stop malnourishment in our country.
Right.
Although sometimes we don't look beyond, there are so many kids who go to school even without a cup of plain tea.
Sure.
So, what's the superfood that he's willing to support with is the Murunga powder, which is apparently ranked as UN's most successful superfood. Okay. So I'm so happy you said it, because I'm going to pass the news, and having people like you endorsing and embodying such projects,
definitely,
which will give such great awareness.
Sure.
Anyway, we need to wrap things up on the show. As always, it's so easy to have a conversation with him. He's so camera friendly, and he just knows how to work all the segments so far. So thank you so very much for joining me on the show.
Thanks a lot. Thank you for the invitation.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. So we can't wait to see you with another brilliant episode of Danu on Fire, with another interesting person and a good meal for me to go home with. Do come and check this restaurant out, because there's so much to try out, and I've just touched the tip of the iceberg. I'm telling you, the chef is very involved. I see her just there, looking at all what I'm eating. So until we see you with another brilliant episode, you keep smiling. It's a wrap.